I just want a really simple cycling computer that reads out my power meter and records where I've been. I've been running the Garmin 520 for the last 2 years and had a really good experience with it, but even that has been overkill. I don't need a color screen, I don't need apps, I don't need maps, I don't need anything that combines my data, fiddles with it to give me some extra insight in the moment. All I need it to do is connect with my peripherals, display it in the moment, and that is about it. Record where I've been. That's all I need. All the extra analysis I need can be done after the riding. So when I heard about the Garmin 130, it sounded perfect and I wanted to try it. I think it's the smallest computer that connects to a power meter, which is what sold me on it. And here it is, the Garmin 130, the Garmin Edge 130. I'm not sure what the edge is about. Maybe it gives me an edge somehow. Well, it gives me a 30-gram edge over my previous 520. It actually weighs 32 grams, whereas my previous 520 was 61 kilograms. So already we're riding around with half the weight. We're saving 30 grams. This unit cost £170, and to save 30 grams on anything on your bike when you've already got carbon wheels and a carbon bike and the top-end group set, you're going to have to be dropping a lot of cash. And so relatively, this is quite a cheap price for the amount of weight that you're saving. And when we're talking micro marginal gains, carrying 30 grams less uphill everywhere sounds good to me. So this is the spec that I care about. It's 32 grams, 15-hour battery life, connects to Ant Plus and Bluetooth smart sensors, so that's my power meter, my heart rate sensor. It's got customizable data screens so that I can see exactly the kind of metrics that I want to see, up to 8 fields, 5 pages of them. And finally, it's just a much smaller form factor and looks way more sleek than the 520. I've never bought into a cycling computer for the navigation because trying to shove maps into this kind of form factor has always felt clunky to me, especially when I should really be concentrating on what's up ahead on the road. I've just never needed it. Using my phone that sits in my back pocket to pull out and navigate when I need it has always just been the reality of my riding. Obvious question, why this head unit with touchscreen over the Wahoo Bolt? Also, do you plan to use the car radar feature? Rich Cole on Strava. Well, Rich, I wasn't actually aware that this had touchscreen. I don't think it does. It doesn't. It doesn't have touchscreen, and I'm not even sure about the Wahoo Bolt either. But I wouldn't go for a cycling computer with a touchscreen, whatever it was, regardless of what make it was, who'd done it. I'm just not bothered about a touchscreen, especially because I like cycling in all weathers. The harsher they get, the number my fingers get, and the more glad I'll be that I have chunky buttons. And just like with the 520, this has got chunky buttons as well. They're a little bit different setup to the 520, so it's been a bit of getting used to the UI, how the interface works with the buttons, because it's changed from the 520. But that's nothing to complain about, and I'm sure it's something I'm going to get used to. I wouldn't go for a cycling computer with a touchscreen. As for your other question, I've got no plans to buy into Garmin's Varia radar system, I think it's called, but it's nice to know that it does integrate well across so many different peripherals, and it's also got nice to haves like Strava Live segment support and also something called safety assistance, which means when you have a crash, it'll notify the people you want to notify about that, that you've had a fall. But these are all things that I think I'll have to test in a much longer term review, and I'll do a follow-up video on. So if you have any questions about this unit, leave it down in the comments below and I'll get into it. And as for my first impressions on the Garmin 130 after the first ride, that it is everything that I needed in the 520, just for half the weight. This is 30 grams less than the 520 was, and it has exactly the same functionality without the fluff. I don't need a color screen. This works great in direct sunlight like today, and all I need to see are simple metrics from my peripheral devices like cadence, heart rate, power. Perfect. And yeah, couldn't be more pleased. So if anyone's in the market for a 520, then hit me up, because I'm selling one.